So Philadelphia just drafted a heat-seeking missile at linebacker with perhaps the highest upside of any player in round 1. But we have new details that show just how badly Howie wanted to draft him. Also, what's going on with his current shoulder injury and why I'm not concerned. Plus, the newest Eagle, well, it sounds like he has one goal in mind heading into 2025.
We got to win another freaking Super Bowl next year, man. It's on.
The Eagles' long wait to finally pick at the end of round 1 gave us a ton of anxiety and excitement, as Howie Roseman pulled the trigger on a trade up just one spot to land the absolute wrecking ball of a linebacker who not only has been on the Birds' radar for a while, but might become the future steal of the NFL draft. Oh, and if you're wondering how he'll look tackling the Giants' newest quarterback, yeah, I think Jihaad Campbell is going to fit right in Philadelphia. And of course, to celebrate, I'm going to give away Jihaad Campbell's jersey to one person who likes the video, is subscribed, and leaves a comment down below, so leave a comment now. Also, your comment on today's video gets you entered for the signed helmet giveaway, winner announced at the beginning of next week, although apparently almost half of you guys who watch my show regularly are not subscribed. Got to be a subscriber to go ahead and win this bad boy. Now, the first thing you need to know about the newest Eagle is just how bad the Eagles wanted him. There are now multiple reports confirming the Eagles actually tried to trade up twice, both the Packers and Chargers early in round 1 to grab the Alabama linebacker. Although in the end, to actually get Campbell, the trade-up cost was extremely cheap. Philadelphia gave the Chiefs a 5th-round draft pick this year to move up one spot so no one else could grab their guy, according to Howie Roseman after the draft.
We picked Jihaad Campbell. We made a small trade up just to ensure that we could get him. There were a lot of trades in the 20s, and so we just want to make sure that someone didn't jump ahead of us. Excited to have him, really excited to have him. Wasn't really something we anticipated. Understand some of the other teams may have reasons for taking other players, but for us, this was a really easy pick. Really explosive player. He can play inside. He can be an edge rusher. Just really feel fortunate to bring him home back to Philly.
Okay, so who exactly is Jihaad Campbell? Well, not only is he a New Jersey kid, but he reportedly grew up an Eagles fan and was recruited to Alabama by Nick Saban, where he spent the last 2 years anchoring the Tide defense as an off-ball linebacker who earned all SEC honors and amassed a crazy 117 tackles and 5 sacks in his final year in Tuscaloosa. And the key here is those sacks. He's an off-ball linebacker, but he can play all around the defense. But Philadelphia, according to Howie Roseman after the draft, is queuing in on him actually being an edge rusher to go get the quarterback.
You see his explosiveness and his speed, and really, you know what? It's kind of interesting, and we talked about this a lot. You know, you see it. You see Penn State give them a lot of credit for what they've done. They've had guys off the ball move to edge rushers. Obviously, their last 2 guys who've been drafted really high, they started off the ball and they moved to edge rushers. Vic does a tremendous job with getting guys who have pass rush ability to be versatile players like that. And I think what's really fun is that those guys who have that versatility, who can go out on the edge and get pressure as a rusher, and he's got speed, he's got power as an edge rusher, he was trained as an edge rusher, and then he's got the versatility to play off the ball and blitz from depth and play in space, in pass coverage as an off-ball linebacker. And so the things that you can do and keep all these players on the field. So for us, you know, it's just, we always want to improve the front 7, and we view him as a front 7 player who's got incredible versatility and a skill set to do both those things. And the appeal is that he's got this rush skill set, and he's 21 years old. He turned 21 on February 24th. So you know, like, he's got upside to grow and get bigger, and his frame is such that he can put on more weight and more strength. And so, as you can tell, excited about the player.
Also, want to give a massive shout out to the sponsor of today's video, Mud Water. So I'm actually a huge coffee fan, and on vacation, I'll go ahead and splurge, but in my day-to-day life, I basically gave it up because the caffeine crashes, but mainly the stomach problems. I've had stomach problems for a while now, and 1 cup of coffee would basically ruin my stomach, and it just wasn't worth it. But I've been hearing about Mud Water's coffee alternative, so I thought, what the heck, let's give it a try, and it is literally everything I loved about coffee, but without all the negative side effects. First off, it's just a fraction of the caffeine of coffee, about 35 milligrams, and so you still get that little kick of energy, but no crash, no anxiety, and I can actually sleep at night. And you can prepare it in a ton of different ways. So mix with hot water for a classic black coffee style, my personal favorite, or with whatever you like in your regular coffee, whether it's milk, honey, sweetener, it all tastes great. Recently, I have a smoothie every single morning for breakfast, and I put 1 little scoop straight in, and it adds a delicious hint of chai, coffee, and cinnamon. But I think the best part of Mud Water is the fact it's packed with ingredients that actually support focus, energy, and immunity, like lion's mane, cordyceps, reishi, and chaga. Plus, it's got 0 sugar, so just clean, organic ingredients. Oh, and my wife, she loves matcha, and guess guess what? My water has matcha as well. She loves it, so if you're a matcha fan, check it out. If you want to upgrade your morning ritual with mud water, just click the link down below in my description box or scan the QR code somewhere over here and use my exclusive discount code of Thomas Mott Show. You'll get 15% off your first starter kit as well as a free frother. But versatility is really the real kicker here with Campbell. He technically can play anywhere. The Eagles need him to drop back in coverage. Well, he's great at that. But the focus right now should be on his pass rush skills. Philadelphia's going to use him to go get the quarterback. I think of him more as an edge rusher who can play off-ball linebacker and not the other way around. And the stats definitely back this up, as Campbell had the highest pass rush productivity score of any player in the SEC last season. Oh, and how about the all-important relative athletic score? Well, Campbell had a 9.88, which, again, athleticism, freak of nature, all of those are words that jump off the page when you hear experts talk about this guy.
The best linebacker in this draft is Jihaad Campbell. It's not even close. Like, you watch him just avoid the guards, all right, get through the soup, like get through the coffee grinds and the eggshells. He's going to find the ball carrier, no matter where he lines up, okay? Like, he's got an elite skill set. And you watch him right here. Watch the forced fumble here on the blitz. Like, this is what he can do. Like, he can fire his, like, this is LSU now on a Saturday night, balls out. Game-changing plays. We saw Zach Bond do that a bunch last year. Now, there's an old saying, right? Slow till you know. So you watch them. Like, this is what good inside linebackers do. They trust their speed, which is plenty. 4.52 at 243 pounds. All right, now watch him. Watch how him stay behind the play. Stay behind the play, right? You're slow until you know. And then when you know, then you go blow it up.
Now, of course, there are negatives here, and the first of which I've seen is that Eagle fans are concerned this means that Nakobe Dean, his time is done in Philadelphia, but I completely disagree. Dean is still coming off a pretty brutal knee injury and is expected to miss the beginning of the season. But as we said before, Vic Fangio loves Nakobe Dean and he loves Zach Bond. I don't see this pick as Nakobe Dean's replacement or insurance in case Dean doesn't work out. I see him again as more of an edge rusher instead of a linebacker, so in my opinion, Nakobe Dean is safe. The real name to focus on here, who's already an Eagle, is Zach Bond, as the blueprint for what Vic Fangio probably wants to do for Jihaad Campbell was there as an all-pro this past season. The real difference, though, is the fact that Campbell's going to be used more of an edge rusher, whereas Bond was more of a linebacker. Plus, Campbell was widely considered a top 15, maybe top 10 prospect in this year's draft. Someone who had basically zero chance of falling to Philadelphia 32, let alone 31. I mean, some people had Campbell as the 5th highest overall player on their big board. The value of getting him at 31 cannot be overstated. Also, not to be overstated, it sounds like Jihaad Campbell himself, after being drafted, seems pretty darn excited to play for the defending Super Bowl champs.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they're a very great organization. They have very great coaches, great staff, that make sure, the team has, great value, so we can win. Win regular season games, win playoffs, and, most importantly, win a Super Bowl. So, man, I'm just ready to be the best version of myself each and every day and compete, and, be that dominant force at whatever the coach wants to put me at, honestly.
Now, of course, if you're supposed to be a top 5 player or top 15 pick in the NFL draft and you fall to 31, there must be a problem, and technically there is. The elephant in the room right now is that Jihaad Campbell has a shoulder injury. Campbell suffered a torn labrum in his shoulder at some point during the 2024 season. We don't really know when, but it technically did not cause him to miss any games, but it has been a known concern for some teams. Now, Campbell, of course, did participate and really dominate in the NFL Combine, but he did officially undergo surgery this past March, which caused him to miss his Alabama Pro Day. Now, obviously, I'm not a doctor, but the torn shoulder labrum recovery time is usually between 4 and 6 months. So, split the difference. Let's say it's 5 months until he's 100% ready to go. 5 months from today is technically the beginning of September, which doesn't sound ideal, but when asked about it yesterday, Howie Roseman, he doesn't sound too worried.
Again, this was a top 10 player on our board. We do not have any long-term concerns with his health. We have, we look at the draft as a long-term opportunity for our team. We have a lot of confidence this guy's going to be here and play at a really high level for a long time. And so when you're in a draft and you're picking at the end of the first round, you have an opportunity to get a top 10 player at your board, a guy who can affect the quarterback, a guy who can affect the passing game. For us, it was a no-brainer. Local kid, great character. So we were really excited to add him. Yeah, we'll get all into that when we bring him in here. Obviously our guys had an opportunity to see him at the Combine and the rechecks. And, we're very excited about what he's going to bring to the team. From our perspective, all that stuff will be sorted out. But again, we're looking at this. This wasn't a need pick. This was, for us, a player we had tremendous passion about, and somebody, when we started the process and continued through the process, was very high on our boards. And, we got to look at the draft that way. Obviously, There were other players we liked at the spot we were picking, but this stood out to us, and very excited to get him, and we didn't want to lose him.
I'm just taking it day by day with, the shoulder process, just making sure, like I said earlier, I'm just maximizing every day, that I can get better, that I can heal up. So
personally, I think us Eagle fans must be comfortable with Campbell missing not only probably all of training camp, but likely the start of the NFL season in 2025. But this really is the luxury of being the GM of the defending Super Bowl champions. Philadelphia does not have a ton of needs. Sure, they have some, but teams that go for the best player available versus the position they must have at least early in the draft tend to be the ones who win. The Eagles have said multiple times over the past 24 hours that they feel very confident about his shoulder injury. He's going to be just fine. Again, he's probably going to miss OTAs. He's going to miss mini camps. He'll probably miss the start of training camp, but I think he's going to be okay. And once he gets healthy, the sky's the limit. And that limit will be determined by none other than Vic Fangio. This has Vic Fangio's name written all over it. It's a Vic Fangio pick if I've ever seen one in the NFL, and that should give all of us a ton of comfort. I mean, Fangio's record as the Eagles DC, at least with rookies so far, come on, it's absolutely flawless. Cooper DeJean, Quinion Mitchell, how about Jalix Hunt? He has gotten the most out of the young guys, maybe in the entire league over the past year. He should definitely be able to do it again. Now, of course, this was just round one. Philadelphia has more picks, and so if you're watching this video after round two, I might be wrong on who they select, but let's look at the players right now who are available heading into night two of the NFL draft. And there are obviously a ton. Philadelphia currently sits at pick 64, so any of these names they got to go ahead and trade up for, like, for instance, Nick Sirianni, who the safety from South Carolina would be my dream selection here on day two. We'll see if they can get high enough for him, but he would be a home run. There's also edge rushers like Marshall's Mike Green, although there is a report saying Philadelphia is not interested due to his off-the-field concerns. So top 30 visit Donovan Ezaraku has a chance to be another pass rusher if the Birds want to grab him. Still, I think secondary is going to be the move tonight after getting essentially an edge rusher in Campbell, so names like Trey Amos out of Ole Miss is a possible trade-up candidate. But also, don't forget about Penn State star safety Kevin Winston Jr. Might not need a trade up for him. He could be a great pick at 64. And if you want to be the first to know who Philadelphia takes, well, you join myself and Josh Davis for day two of our NFL draft live stream because night one was crazy. Almost 10,000 concurrent viewers. I had over 100,000 of you guys go ahead and click on my NFL draft show last night. 200,000 views combined. It was crazy. I appreciate you guys. We have plenty more stuff happening again tonight for the NFL draft, going live about 30 minutes before the draft starts. And the Eagles, they're going to be crazy. I want your thoughts on the draft pick of Jihaad Campbell in the comment section. Drop a like, get in on the giveaways. I'm just pumped to be here early, very early, by the way, on a Friday morning. The NFL draft has started. The Eagles are looking great. I love Jihaad Campbell. Thomas Mott. This has been the Thomas Mott Show.